Barwick to get things underway. It'll be a hot night tonight in Darwin. Ball rolling down to Cyrinet. Taken well low. A fumble right at the start from the Tigers. Looking for a good start. They get a real horror here. Penrith with the feed. Clint Robinson taking his eyes off the ball. The Penrith Panthers will have the feed.
That's football suicide. First ruck of the game. A winger not used to going to dummy half. That's elementary mistakes.
Ben Alexander gets it out to Carter. He brings Bradley on the inside. Met with solid defence by Baysari. The Panthers on the attack on the 22. An awful pass thrown behind Brad Izzard. So the Panthers get some nerves of their own. Izzard was charging onto it. The pass was thrown way behind him. Roach will play it. Jack getting the kick in, but not well. Off the side of the boot. Travelling down to Mackay. Now, he lost that. I don't know whether he lost it in the lights or not. But a very awkward start from both sides.
A lot of nerves from both teams. Wayne Pearce, the grass on this field is longer than I've seen it at any ground in the Winfield Cup.
And the dummy halves will have to watch themselves here. The play the balls, you'll notice the play the balls, the ball stops dead. So the dummy halves will have to be on their game right throughout the night.
A keen tactic here from Balmain. No fullback at home, and it was a race to the in goal, but the ball beats everybody. They've been firing the Panthers. 129 points for the best attack in the Winfield Cup. And then 66 against, 112 against for Balmain, who have the third worst defence so far this year. Simmons to Vandervoort. Back in the top grade.
And talking about Balmain's defence, that man, number 13, Craig Sloan, and Wayne Singh, the second row, have been added to this team to stiffen their defence and hopefully improve the work rate in that area.
Jack grabbed that 10 metres out from his own line, stepped inside Geyer, who was looking for the big hit. I mentioned that it was warm here. They'll go wide, Balmain. On an early tackle. James Grant, good footwork. He threw the dummy on the inside. Now he finds Brasher. It was a line ball that passed to Brasher. Right on halfway. Penalty against Penrith. Slowing down the play was Bradley. Wouldn't get off him. They were looking for a quick play of the ball, Balmain. They were robbed of the chance. Bradley was making sure that his team was enjoying plenty of time to get back on side.
Well, he almost made love to him. I mean, that had to be a penalty and could even have been a sin bin. I don't see why the sin bins are just for close to the line. That is slowing play down deliberately.
Robinson off his wing, but straight into Geyer. Freeman. Cyrinet. Run around with Freeman, looking for runners. Jack gave him another option. Brasher handles well, keeping it alive. And well, Baysari showed the ball. Looking good in attack to Tigers, starting to find some holes. Roach up the middle. 15 metres out from the Penrith line. They stay on a short blindside. Freeman along the deck to the in goal. Barwick's had no other chance but just to run it dead. Barwick. He will get this out to near halfway on the fly. Jack. Stepping into the waiting arms of Vandervoort and Geyer, and that one hurt. One low, one high. Jack has collapsed after playing the ball. Still trying to get back to his feet. Geyer went looking for another big hit, but it was a step from Singh that put him off. Roach. Edmed turns in the tackle. Good share of possession here early for Balmain. Brown threw a dummy, and he nearly got away up the middle. Last tackle. Freeman putting it up short of the line. Barwick's there, and O'Brien has got him.
Balmain missing Brian Smith in the 5'8" spot. His kicking game is excellent. So far, Balmain have not put any pressure on this Penrith side with their kicks. Barwick not under pressure there with that one.
There's players there, they should have challenged him for the ball. 0-0, the Tigers and the Panthers here in Darwin on Nissan Friday night. Ben Alexander to dummy half. Geyer. Good strong run too. Not only does he hurt in defence, he takes something out of you, trying to put him down. Bowie. This one straight to Jack. Has he recovered? He's going to return the favour.
I don't think he has recovered, Graham. He didn't take that on the full, which Gary Jack normally does, and he put it straight back. He's not a kicking fullback. I think he's still got the cobwebs in. Barwick will kick him off the field.
Well, Barwick heard the call from Roy Simmons. Now, he's got to travel 10 metres, remember. Jack looking for the angle to the other side of the field. Ben Alexander has dropped back to help Barwick out. Alexander's going to run it. All his forwards were down the other end. They're going to have to travel back. Clark. Paul Clark up against his old club. Tremendous year for him at Penrith last year. He played in every premiership match. Geyer turns into ball distributor for Ben Alexander. The two sevens come together. 40 metres out from the Balmain line. Carter. Carter gets into the kicking act, looking for the sideline. It breaks away from the line and into the in goal. Jack has to hurry. They're all down there trying to trap him. He just manages to stay in the field of play. Robinson takes off. First real pressure now for Balmain. O'Brien off the far wing to do some running for his forwards. 10 metres out from his own line. Edmed. Last week it was Illawarra 12 over Balmain 9. And Penrith had a good 17-10 victory over Cronulla. Smith. Has he lost it? Annesley running over to let them know who he wants to play the ball. Smith stays with it for Penrith. Vandervoort. 32 metres out from the Balmain line. Dunn. Dunn was trying to look for a support right at the death. Alexander, Carter, Bradley, Izzard. Some handling mistakes from Penrith. Jack. The Tigers come away with it through Brown. Being one of the glamour clubs for the last few years, Wayne Pearce, a few young Tigers certainly getting their chance in the top grade.
Yeah, it's great to see, and they've started off with tremendous enthusiasm tonight. In fact, the last few matches that they've lost, they've started off well, but they haven't been able to maintain their momentum, and that's what they'll be looking for tonight. Keep it going right through the 80 minutes. Junior,
it's essential that they get some points for their work tonight. And they've got to score first in this game to give them the impetus to go on with it. It's no good playing well and getting beaten, and that's going to hit home to them again if they don't score early in this game.
Well, for their confidence more than anything else, they've struggled to lift their confidence.
Here go the Panthers through Barwick. It's always the danger kicking to an open field if the line's not up there. They were broken, the chasers. Only 1 and 2 tacklers. Geyer. Geyer just said to Gary Freeman, get out of my way. Grant picks up the dregs. Jack looking for a lot of running. 0-0, the Tigers and the Panthers. Edmed.
Balmain forward starting to drop off in intensity. Here's Roach now trying to get them going. He sensed that, and in the captain's role, Blockers sensed that they were slackening off, and they've got to keep going up the centre of the rucks.
That was 2 good plays, Edmed. Then the roll on from Roach. Now it's the last tackle against Balmain. Brown kicking. Will it stay in play? Just in front of the corner post. Good kick from the hooker. Just that single point from a draw for the Tigers. Carter. Phil Gould, the Penrith coach. The Tigers showing a lot of enthusiasm here in Darwin. Izzard. Vandervoort.
The work rate of Colin Vandervoort amazes me. He's been out since the semi-finals last year, wrecked his knee, and he's back and carrying this Penrith side early on.
Certainly is. Now, knock on against Geyer. They were running out of ground near this sideline. They got in each other's way. People say that Sterling just means so much to Parramatta. We get a good chance tonight about Greg Alexander.
We certainly do. They're a very steady side without Alexander, but gee, they grow another leg when he's in the team. He just gives them those extra options that they don't have when he's not there. But the number 7 for Balmain is the man that's got to spark the Tigers tonight. Gary Freeman, he's had a quiet start to 1991. He's been under suspension for a couple of games. He's got to spark this side tonight.
He's staying in the thick of the action. Baisari. Roach standing wide. Sirinen was nearly gone. It was a good tackle from Paul Clark that put him down. Roach keeping it alive for Sloane. Brasher grabbed by the jumper by Paul Dunn. Talking of Greg Alexander, he's still here in Darwin watching his teammates go round. Michael Brown was trying a little bit of a chip. This man has some skills.
He certainly has, and he's got a lot of courage too. He's only a youngster, taking the place of Benny Elias. Have a look at him here, little chip over the top. He's obviously modelled his game on Benny Elias and not frightened to have a go. That's good for a young player.
And the longer the game goes, the better he'll be. He's one of the fittest players in the competition, without a doubt.
Paul Clark. They've got the possession, but just in the opposition half, Balmain. Now it's to the halfway line. Bowie kicking well away from Jack. Paul Smith flying down, chasing it. Steve O'Brien went to sleep, and he got away with it, luckily. He didn't know that Smith was on the fly.
Well, he couldn't have heard him. This is like running on carpet here. This ground is well grassed, and Smith was tiptoeing along it. And Steve O'Brien, very experienced player, as you said, Graham, he went to sleep there, and it could have been curtains.
O'Brien thought that all he had to do was travel back nice and slow, pick up the ball, and wait for the defence. Now he heard those footsteps of Smith. Jack was obviously screaming to him. That nearly ended up in a try. Edmed. This guy is certainly looking for some chances, isn't he?
He certainly is, tackling very strongly. There's Sirinen, and that's a sign that he's getting tired, even though it was the last tackle. But you don't often see the big fellow, Paul Sirinen. He kicked that like a miner.
I can't ever remember Sirinen kicking the ball. Smith. Baisari low and Grant high.
Wayne Pearce already in this game of football. There's a lot of hands on hips, not the interchange that we've seen, and this is going to be an arm wrestle, the survival of the fittest in the sauna in Darwin.
It's pretty warm down here. It's about 29 degrees still, but fortunately for the players, it's the first day of a weather pattern that resembles the dry season. In other words, the humidity today is down around 35%, half of what it has been.
Off the knees of Ben Alexander, he gets upended by Jack. It'll be a penalty. What about the advantage here? Well, the advantage was for Penrith. I think he could have played it a little bit longer.
I think he played it as long as he could, Graham. I think that there was a further knock on. He let it go as far as he could. There was definitely holding back of the Penrith player. The kick through by Ben Alexander. Gary Jack got an awful bounce, and there, Gary Jack holding back Ben Alexander, and that had to be a penalty.
As cool as you please, he wanders back. Now, moves into the kick, right down the middle. First points drawn here at Darwin. Penrith 2, Balmain 0.
Yes, I wondered.
Simmons. Geyer. He heard the call from Bradley just a little bit too late. The Panthers get a penalty for the Tigers offside. Now Barwick may go for a long-range kick here. 45 metres out. Barwick.
Craig Sloane's off for Balmain.
Barwick certainly had the distance easily. That was put back into the crowd, but it's no goal. It remains 2-0 Penrith. Just that lone goal from Greg Barwick. Fittler gets his first touch. He gives it straight away to Smith.
And
Greg Izzard out there.
And Izzard aside, he's on for Sloane.
Forget about brotherly love tonight here in Darwin. Done. Ben Alexander.
Ouch.
What a handful. Geyer. Ben Alexander goes to his back line. Carter trying to kick out wide. Izzard's there. Gary Jack pushing it dead in goal. He knew they were onside. He knew he had to do something. And they've kept Jack busy, haven't they?
Yes, they certainly have, and he had a knock early. This is good play by Penrith. Carter the kick into the in-goal. Izzard knew it was on. Look at Izzard there, ready to swoop like a thief in the night if indeed that man, Gary Jack, had made the mistake. Jack calling for the football, but I dare say he doesn't want it real smart, real quick. They're really soaking up the oxygen now for this Balmain side.
Real danger period here for them, Wayne.
Yeah, it sure is. Definitely the territory going Penrith's way, but Penrith's defence is what's amazed me tonight. They've thrown themselves 100% into defence, and they've hurt Balmain, particularly in the forwards. And when Balmain's look like making a couple of half breaks, they've smothered them, covered them up well. I mean, it's becoming frustrating for the Balmain side.
Now they've got to try and wear out that frustration, defending their own line. Done. Simmons looking left, now right. He goes to Paul Clark. Clark finds Fittler. Ben Alexander to take over. Geyer standing wide, looking for runners. Bradley gets it out to Paul Smith. Stepping inside, taken by Freeman. Really stretched now, the Tigers in defence. Last tackle. Ben Alexander across the ruck. Brad Fittler gets the flick up for Dunn. Dunn gets the kick. Bouncing awkwardly for Grant. Just a few moments ago, it was Jack. He put it dead. Now the Tigers will have to soak up some more.
Tremendous pressure coming now from this Penrith side, and again keeping the ball alive. The kick into the in-goal area. James Grant knocked it over the back door. There was Carter pressuring him all the way. This Balmain side under siege in Darwin at the moment.
12 straight tackles for the Panthers. Paul Smith. Getting down to about 6 or 7 minutes before half-time. Fittler trying to add some extra sting to this Penrith side. Just that goal, 2-0 to the Panthers. Done. Ben Alexander. Good tackle on Brad Izzard by Wayne Singh. Simmons. Well, Simmons was waiting for the tackle. The defence ended up opening up. He nearly got through. Ben Alexander gets through. Down to Gary Jack. Can they hang on? Awful pass from Carter. Balmain couldn't pick up the dregs, but they'll have the scrum feed from the first knock on against Penrith. Carter just threw that straight into the turf.
Certainly did, and again, poor play in a position where they could attack from the Penrith side. Another knock on, scrum feed to Balmain, and Balmain really needed that.
Geyer, he's been doing a lot of damage on other players. Now he's struggling to get back into the action. Jack, that was a pressure pass from James Grant.
Certainly was, right in front of his own sticks.
Steve O'Brien. Greg Izzard.
I thought at the start of this game Balmain may get by on enthusiasm, but I really should have given Penrith more credit for being the champion side they are. They are meeting Balmain at every corner. The Tigers at the moment hanging in there, but now starting to fall in a hole. The pressure that Penrith has applied early in the game is starting to tell now.
But they know that half-time's approaching, and they've done well in those last 2 sets of 6 to hang on.
They certainly have, but they really need to score. Another mistake by Mackay. His second out of 3 tonight.
Well, that's just about in the same spot from the earlier one.
Certainly is, and he's a very disappointed young man at the moment, but there was the kick. Not a lot of pressure on Mackay, none at all really, and there it was. He needs a chaff bag tonight.
He didn't have an idea where that one was.
But I've got to tell you from down here, Pete, these lights are difficult, particularly for the fullbacks and wingers. They are very low, much lower than what the players are used to in Sydney, and it is quite easy to lose the ball in the lights.
Well, here's a bonus for the Tigers, because after soaking up all that pressure, as we go inside the last 5 before half-time, they might get the last chance at a try.
Well, they've got a great opportunity. They've got to put the ball deep and attack from here. This is their best opportunity. That's a shocking kick.
Well, what can you say? That came from one of the most experienced men on the field.
That's a sign of a tied football side when they can't put the ball over the sideline, and that would just... There's Gary Jack on the replay, on the Nissan replay. That's a terrible kick for an international player, and he knows that he doesn't have to be told.
I would have thought that Baysari was the better kicker of the two. Why wouldn't he be taking the kicks for the sideline, Wayne?
Yeah, that's interesting, but Gary Jack has kicked for the sideline for the club for the past 5 or 6 years, so it's not unusual. I'm sure if Brian Smith was out there, he would have taken the kick, and that's really what they're missing, a big clearing game from their own quarter, and Brian Smith would have made a big difference.
But don't you rate Baysari a better kicker?
From general play, I would, and probably, yeah.
Well, here's the chance. Brasher puts it down. There have been some opportunities, and both sides have come up with simple handling errors.
There was a great opportunity for Balmain there. Brasher was in the clear. Here's Gary Jack, the pass. Brasher had a look ahead to see who was there, took his eyes off the football, and that was the end of the section. Yeah,
he just looked away, wondering where that cover defence was coming from just as the pass was coming.
Yeah, they don't need to murder opportunities. They need to convert them.
Clark. Simmons. Ben Alexander. Looking for the sideline. He will find it only a couple of metres away from the Balmain in goal. So they go back on the hunt again, down deep in Tiger territory.
Greg Alexander, he isn't, but he's a fine young player. He's having an extra special game here tonight, rising to the occasion here in Darwin before a capacity crowd at Richardson Park.
It's hard enough living behind the likes of Sterling and Mortimer when their era was at its best and young guys were coming through. It's even worse when it's your own brother that keeps you out of first grade.
Certainly is, but what a player that's keeping him out.
Taken from the back row by Craig Izzard. 10 metres out from their own line, the Tigers.
There's a big danger here for the players tonight. Wayne Pearce will be experiencing it on the sideline. Now, the players gasping for air could easily swallow one of the thousands of dragonflies that are here at the ground. Now, they come out evidently at the end of the wet season, and that's what we're in at the moment here. Junior.
We'll just take... Wait, there's heaps of them down here, actually. It's quite interesting. Good point.
Brown. Well, it's a good variety in the kicking game, isn't it? From hooker. Then you've got Jack, you've got Baysari. Everybody's being successful at it too.
I'm like you, I wouldn't have let Gary Jack kick for the sideline. He's a manufactured kicker. A few years ago, he couldn't kick a football 30, 40 metres and had to call on some assistance in that regard, but he wouldn't get a start in the can for mine.
Yeah, but admittedly, he can't kick as far as probably Baysari, but Peter, I've got to disagree. He's a more accurate kicker, and that's the reason I'm sure he was given the kick.
Well, he wasn't accurate then.
No comment.
Bowick. Fittler. Bradley. Hasn't been a lot of opportunities for the Penrith backs. Geyer. He has been their most damaging player. Now Roach lets him know that he's still around. Now Steve Roach hearing some calls from the sideline. Dunn. Still inside his own half with about 60 seconds left in this first half. If there's going to be any mistakes, Penrith say it will come from Balmain, or will it? Barwick puts it out on the full. The Tigers will have to hurry as the clock is winding down. Handover for Balmain. Freeman. To Sirinen, who was standing flat-footed. He's got to be a lot deeper.
He's got to be a lot deeper, but Fittler never retired 1 yard there. When the changeover in possession came, he stayed exactly where he was when his side had possession of the football. Should have been a pinch.
Balmain waste their chance here before half-time. They cough it up. Only seconds to go before the break. In a tough first half here. Scrum collapses. There might be a penalty. Annesley's going to let it come back up and reset. And Simmons lying all over Michael Brown, who was on the flat of his back.
It's one of those Darwin cows has arrived. Or was that a buffalo, Junior?
The Buffalo signals half-time here at Darwin. And it's the Panthers, to the applause of the crowd, who will go to the break with a lead. But only a lone goal from Greg Barwick separates these two teams here in Darwin. 2-0. We'll be back right after this. Baysari with the kickoff for the Tigers. 40 minutes left here in Darwin on Nissan Friday Night Football. Smith. They started the first half badly, Penrith. They got away with it, though. Some handling errors let them down.
Balmain have got to score first to win this football game. Indeed, they've got to score, I think, in the opening 15 minutes of the second half, or Penrith will outmuscle them here in Darwin tonight.
Simmons switches it. 126 first half tackles from the Tigers. Wayne Singh with 19. And Baysari 18, just 89 for the Panthers. Paul Dunn and Barry Walker, the workers amongst the forwards. Jack. Mile of defenders in front of him. Vandervoort, who was busy too in the first half. He assisted Walker in that tackle. Marcella with a good run out towards halfway. Brasher looking for a chance to break away from dummy half. Brown to the blind side. They were setting for a kick. Baysari was back deep, but he lost him. Now they find Baysari. But it's an awful kick from him off the side of the boot and straight out into the crowd.
There's no real pattern to Balmain at the moment. Their forwards aren't working as a unit. They don't know where their kicker is. Surely Smith's late withdrawal this afternoon hasn't upset the side that much. He's only been there a few weeks.
Carter. Can't escape Baysari.
And an important change for the Penrith side. Mark Geyer is off the field and Barry Walker has taken his place.
Now Walker with the ball just inside Tiger territory. Alexander. Clark. Trying to wear away at Balmain more than anything. The Tigers caught inside the 5. Annesley laying down the law to Sirinen. 1 from 2 for Barwick. Hooking it around, 1 up, 1 down.
That's no goal.
Well, there's the kick from Barwick. Said hooking around. Now, it didn't even seem to go over the upright. It seemed to go a couple of metres to the left.
Certainly did. It looked on target early, but did veer well away to the left.
Alexander. Very deep Penrith. Carter. The Tigers moved up quickly, forced him back into the middle of the ruck. Dunn stepping, getting it out to Smith. The chase is onto the corner. Jack went very high. Now Annesley's called him over. Or has he?
Well,
no, he hasn't.
Over the shoulder. Gary Jack desperate there. And in that situation, you do desperate things. He pulled him over the sideline.
Jack. Barwick. For a moment he shaped a kick. He slipped as he came to the tackle of Brasher. Brasher's hurt himself. No marker. Brasher still can't get up. Mackay. Now he's back. Clark takes over in attack. Former teammates in the front row, Clark and Roach. No love lost there. Dunn. Changing direction. 1 more left for the Panthers. And on the last, they're going to try a blindside now. The kick from Alexander. Right on the try line. It might have been a try. Carter calling out for a try.
Well, the touch judge then...
Interesting call.
Interesting call. The touch judges ruled very quickly that the ball went over the dead ball line. Now, I don't know whether he's right, but that's what he's ruled. Let's have a look at it. Well, it did go over the dead ball line, and it definitely wasn't forced. I don't know who pushed it over. He's ruled that Penrith did. Thus, the tap from the quarter for Balmain. Luckily, out of that one. Penalty to Balmain.
Gary Jack gambled and luckily won.
Well, he's done that a couple of times tonight. This long grass that we spoke about earlier in the game is taking away from the normal judgment of the players. The ball is stopping quicker, much quicker than they anticipated, and you would have thought that seeing they trained here last night, they would have been well aware of the conditions.
Been handling some pressure. Their defence has been good, Wayne.
It's been great from the back. In fact, it's been good from both sides. Balmain's defence has been up topsy-turvy all year, but they've really improved tonight.
It's a real grand final night in Darwin for the Tigers. Freeman cutting out men, and then across the paddock, linking up with Jack. He hurdled one of the tacklers. Sirenen. Mentioned before, Freeman wasn't expecting one pass. Well, Sirenen wasn't expecting that one, so a couple of minor communication breakdowns. Now, after doing all the tackling, the Tigers lifting themselves for a raid of their own. Baysari, big bomb coming for Barwick, heading into his in-goal, running backwards, fumbles it, but recovers. That's a difficult proposition to run away from the ball, especially under the lights, but he did it well, really, to tidy up.
He certainly did. Barwick knocked it back, and then he had to get back and grab the ball.
Jack into the back line, linking with Baysari, and Freeman, I should say, James Grant on the end of it.
This record crowd of over 13,000, they will bring the house down if there's a try scored. They've seen a real arm wrestle. Now they want to see some razzle-dazzle.
Edmed. Crowd didn't like the tackle, the way it was finished off on Edmed. Freeman across the paddock. Sirenen can't shake loose. Paul Clark. Brown. Penalty to the Tigers. This will put them in a good position. Touch judge will be in probably to report that last tackle. And the way it was finished off on Edmed, just short of halfway.
Brad Fittler, the player, being called over.
So just a warning here. This was the tackle on Edmed. I think he might get a bit of a chop or a clout from Fittler at the end of it. Bang.
I really don't think that that deserved even a caution.
Well, maybe a bit of a run somewhere later when there was a real stop. Maybe not a chance to slow the game right down.
I think he wanted to come in Darwin.
It's a nice recovery period for the Penrith defence anyway. Roach. Switching the angle of attack was Craig Sloan. Right near the 22, the Tigers. Singh. Crowd starting to warm up. Calling for a try. Edmed. The Tigers lifting their pace. Quick play of the balls. Roach. Dummying one way. Now flicking it out the back for Edmed. Edmed can't unload. He's right in front of the post. Only 10 metres away. Freeman. Floating it out for Sirenen. Sirenen gets it back, keeps it alive. Now on the inside, Sloan. Good defence from Penrith. Clark got there just when they needed him. Freeman. A little chip to the in goal. He timed the kick badly, and the Panthers survive. It's good defence from them.
Great tackle by Paul Clark, the ex-Balmain player, and he picked up Sloan, the lock forward for the Tigers, just when he could sniff the try line.
Still applying the pressure, trying to force an error now from the Panthers. Good defence from Edmed and Roach.
And you can see the Tigers visibly lift with this territory, that they camp down inside the Penrith territory. But what they've got to do is they've got to put plenty of pressure on the kicker here from this play of the ball.
Fantastic game of football in the conditions. They are super athletes, and they're really turning on a great exhibition of sustained play here.
Good take from Jack. Brought the crowd to its feet. O'Brien. The They're still behind the Tigers, but just. Singh. He's been doing a lot of work for the Tigers right throughout.
So is the man that tackled him. Paul Clark has had a magnificent game for Penrith tonight.
Brasher. Special feeling always to meet up against your old club, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. And he wasn't a regular first grader at Balmain. He's certainly done well at Penrith.
Robinson. Little knock on in the tackle against Robinson, and Annesley caught it.
Good refereeing too, because that was on his blind side, but he did pick it up, and he got a little nod from the touch judge there, who just said to him, good refereeing, and it was from Annesley.
It's also a good call from the touch judge. The ball was floated out wide for Robinson. And a little fumble there. Good communication between the two of them. Barwick. Vandervoort. Fittler. Done. Well, he passed that ball to a support. He was just about to be hammered in defence.
Yeah, that was straight to Darwin Hospital. Don't pass go, that pass.
O'Brien. Well, he had support, but that was way too late.
Certainly was. Brasher was on big Paul Dunn just before he got the football.
Roach. Freeman. Who wants to link up with me? Grant was about 30 metres away. No one read it. Grant trying a little bit of a kick. Regathers, no, he can't, fumbles it. Freeman was there to support him. It's the knock on against Grant. Over 13,000 at Richardson Park. Congratulations to the Darwin Rugby League for all the work they've put into this. Barry Bamford and Wayne Herbert on a marvellous job up here at the top end.
It's not bad for a ground that only holds 10,000. There must be a lot of people piggybacking other people.
Well, they only busted it by 3,500. One of the biggest events, sporting-wise, they've had here in Darwin. Great to see their love of rugby league. Carter. Keep on forcing him back up the middle. Alexander showing the frustration there of the closest in these scores. Izzard pops it up for Barwick on the fringe. Barwick with a real chance. Barwick infield to Bradley. Robinson chasing, just gets him. The closest thing so far. Mackay, quick play of the ball. Robinson makes another tackle. Only a metre away from the line. It's on the last. Carter. Mile of players left over out wide. They keep it alive. Smith. Smith getting it back, and finally,
Bentley, is it?
It's the Panthers, and I think Cole Bentley has got out there off the bench to grab himself a try. They break clear the Panthers, but it's taken them a long time.
Yeah, the Panthers here keeping it alive. The Tigers very tired after the amount of defensive work they've done. A bit of a slip there from Tim Brasher. Offloads on the inside, and Cole Bentley did very well to back up.
Yeah, excellent play here by Penrith, keeping it alive. They've been boiling up to it. Carter, a very good long pass out wide. Standing in the tackle is Dunn. Dunn to Bentley. Bentley gives it to the most improved winger in the competition, Smith, and then backs up on the inside. Has a bit of a fumble, but hangs on to it, and then reaches out and scores the try.
The Nissan replay was saying to everybody, as long as they got it out wide, it had to be a try. Too many numbers. The Tigers were stretched to the limit. Robinson looked as though he might have saved the day for them, but now it's Bentley who picks up that all-important try. Barwick 1 from 3 from out wide. Coming around for him. Great goal. It makes it worse now for Balmain. 8-0 Penrith. He's on the cover of Big League, along with Benny Elias when the two players came up here to promote this match here in Darwin. Look for Big League this week at all the grounds. Of course, all news agents. Clark. Well, prior to this match tonight in Darwin, the Tigers lost a key man in Brian Smith. He's sidelined now with Wayne Pearce.
Yes, Brian, obviously very disappointed. You came up here with the intention of playing, but your cork thigh wasn't good enough, and unfortunately for Balmain, they appear to be lacking a big kicking game, which you would have applied.
Well, you know, it's been disappointing personally, and I think also from the team's point of view, we've been training together all week, and for me to have to pull out at the last minute put a lot of pressure on Dave Baysari, who I think has coped very well, but it's also put pressure on Jimmy Jack, who took a big hit in the beginning of the game, was a little bit dazed, and I think that's affected his kicking game at the moment.
One more question. Just how easy have you made the transition from rugby union to rugby league, given that you were thrown into the first grade lineup basically 3 days after you arrived?
Piercy, I think they did me a favour at Balmain by throwing me in at the deep end, because I think that's the only way you learn to swim, and you know, I'd much rather be thrown in early rather than to sort of paddle around in the lower grade. So, you know, I'm grateful for the opportunities, and I just hope that I can take them.
Well, you're a pretty good swimmer. You've shown us that in the last few games, so congratulations on your form so far, and good luck.
Thanks, Wayne.
Brian Smith there with Wayne Pearce. Now the kick from Baysari. That would have been the job of Smith. Down for Barwick. Job ahead of the Tigers now, Pete.
A long way back for them now, because they had to score first in the second half, and you can see that at the moment they've dropped again. They think, oh no, here we are, 6 rounds now without a win, and it's not a simple game, is it?
Well, it was a grand final for them, wasn't it, here tonight?
Exactly, and
it's hard to lift after this.
It is, and you know, they had an opportunity tonight, big crowd, away from the pressure of Sydney, and they had nothing to lose here tonight, but they've met a very professional side. Here's Bradley.
Bradley gets the kick past Jack. Jack continued on into Bradley, knocked him down. Freeman gets back there to put it dead in goal. The penalty comes from Annesley on Jack. Jack says, I didn't do anything. Well, surely if the penalty came, though, the sin bin should be on the end of this.
Well, I would think so. He depends what he's ruling, and he may still send him. No, he hasn't. Here's the incident. Here's Bradley. They call him the Penguin, and he complains here about getting hit in the head. The ball's gone, and that's a late tackle for mine.
It's a cool crowd. T-shirts and shorts. Barwick hooking it around, but not enough. It stays out to the right. And that scoreline remains 8-0 to Penrith. Barwick hustles back to the fullback role as Jack looks for the restart.
The wind's out of Balmain sails now. They're looking a tired outfit as they chase their kick downfield. Not the enthusiasm that was there a few minutes ago when they were attacking the Penrith line and went within a couple of metres of scoring.
Still plenty of time left. Simmons.
Starting to stand in tackles now, Penrith. This had to happen in the heat.
Up near halfway, Simmons has to throw a long ball to Carter. Carter gets the kick in. The Tigers will be turned around again. Good kick from Carter. Freeman with the scrum feed. The Tigers trying to clear it away through Jack. Got a ball away to Grant. Grant wasn't going to go anywhere, though.
I think he got a shock. He got it.
"13 missed tackles against the Tigers. And 9 of the Panthers. Pretty low count, and defences really have been excellent from both sides.
It certainly has. It's amazing, though. Penrith have only had one real opportunity, and they took it. Balmain have had a couple and haven't taken them at all.
Grant trying to get away to Robinson. Robinson to Freeman. The Tigers get away for a while. Freeman still travelling, and Clark, a front rower, gets over there in cover defence.
He's been a real workhorse tonight.
Roach. Baysari. Can the Tigers get something started? Baysari. Sloan. Over the head of O'Brien, a fumble, but the ball went back. O'Brien determined to get through those tacklers. Roach. Last tackle. He can't finish with it. He doesn't. Singh does. It's a handover. So every time they've built for something, a couple of times their communication breaks down and they seem to lose out right at the death.
Well, I don't think Roach wanted to again have it kicked on the last tackle. They're desperate to try and do something. They're 8 down. It's not much use kicking and just giving the ball back to Penrith. They're too good at that sort of thing.
And from a player's point of view, you can't underestimate how important the loss of Brian Smith, a player with as good a kicking game as him, can be at the last moment, because they would have been practicing all week for his kicking game. Without that, they're really struggling tonight.
Michael Brown was struggling there to recapture the ball. Knocked it back the first time. Then he knocked on. Carter goes to the blind side. Dummies once to Barwick. Jack stayed on him. He got some help from O'Brien. Smith out of dummy half. The Tigers didn't move up. They get sent back to their 22.
You can mark him down for a representative spot. Paul Smith, hasn't he improved in 91?
Certainly has, in great form, Paul Smith. The leading try scorer in the Winfield Cup with 6. Done. Setting themselves up right in midfield, 15 metres out. Clark with a little kick and chase. Jack does well, extra well. Now he's taken by Vandervoort. Crowd thought there was a chance of him breaking away. A good cover from Vandervoort. Singh. Here could be trouble. When you cough up the ball near your own line and you've just been trying to handle some pressure. This is the difficult assignment now for the Tigers again. Carter. Dunn. Gets a ball back. Not a good one. The Panthers hang on to it. Bentley plays it. Carter. Brad Izzard. Stepping and stepping through. Smith, the leading try scorer in the Winfield Cup, is going to add another one to his tally for 91. The Panthers building nicely as the Winfield Cup front runners. And that one was started by Brad Izzard. And he showed great footwork here on the Nissan replay.
Yeah, he certainly did. Brilliant step by Brad Izzard. Steps off his right foot, comes back inside, beats Sirinen, and then looks at the fullback, gives a pass to Smith. And that's the easiest try that Smith scored this year. And he's finished it very well on the Nissan replay.
Well, when you've been tackling as much as Balmain have, you can't afford to turn the ball over, and that's exactly why, because this man, or Penrith as a whole, but this man in particular is so dangerous. He offloads to the flying winger, Paul Smith, yet again. He goes over for another try, and hasn't he had a great season?
He certainly has. But Izzard doing all the clever work. Sirinen couldn't cover up on the inside. He got there late. Jack had to take Izzard. And Paul Smith, he saw that there was no more cover there, and he got round to improve near the post for Barwick. Just 21 years of age and a tremendous finisher. Barwick looking for another goal. This time he gets one. The Panthers here in Darwin, 14-0 over the Tigers. Maybe it's a little bit unfair, though, that scoreline. No real indication.
Yeah, it probably is, Graham, but gee, they're meeting a ruthless football side. This Penrith side, you know, they are going to be somewhere around that grand final. There's no doubt about that. That may sound a little bit contradictory. I thought Balmain might have been up enough tonight to give them a real hard game and maybe even beat them. But this Penrith side are capable of great things.
So Penrith will probably play your favourite side, Brisbane, in the grand final.
Well, Brisbane better get a move on. They've got to play the grand final in Sydney. I don't think they'll be there.
Kennedy. Good tackle from Masella. Kennedy's lost it. Now the Tigers. Well, Kennedy has lost himself. He got back to his feet, tried to run back into position and collapsed on the ground. Peter Phillips is out there too for the Tigers. Sloan to Phillips. There's still a man short in the line. Kennedy doesn't know where he is. Geyer, who had to handle the concussion himself in the first half, he's been told to get back to his feet. Freeman switching play, penalty to the Tigers. Roach, quick tap, head down. He's only 3 metres away. Can the Tigers get on the board? Masella. The defence came in quickly. They still had 3 and 4 men left over, Balmain with the overlap. Freeman. Extra wide as Brasher opening up a little bit. Robinson was into a hole, but they couldn't get the pass cleanly to him. that was going to end up into a try.
Yeah, that's a chance as Balmain and just murdered them. That's around about the 4th or 5th scoring opportunity they've had, and on this occasion, Brasher, the ball was knocked down by a Penrith player who turned around in defence.
Walker.
But full credit to the Penrith defence tonight. That they've shown to me that they're quite capable of going all the way in this year's premiership, particularly when you consider this performance tonight was without Greg Alexander, was without Mark Guy for much of the second half, and it was against a Balmain side that was really in a do-or-die situation.
Another kick from Penrith, the man who puts the finishing touches to this Penrith side.
He's done better tonight than he did at the casino last night, I can tell you.
Well, he's got what he wants.
He certainly has got what he wants.
2 Winfield Cup points.
Plus some more spending money tonight.
14-0. Fumbled in the tackle, but Bradley wasn't standing directly in front of the man who played it. He tried to sneak around and get a head start from the play of the ball. He snuck around quickly on Baysari. 40 metres out from the Penrith line, about 5 minutes remaining. Masella, he went without it. Phillips slipping. Roach, he's tried hard tonight. Gets it back well for Freeman. Brown and Masella. Bradley's there. How many times have they done it just when they're in the right position?
Yeah, Big Roach charged onto that ball. He gave a beautiful ball to Freeman, and then Masella spelt the lollies.
Yeah, well, they had a chance, and same old story.
Yeah, certainly was. There's Masella knocking on, and good work by Roach, who's tried very hard tonight.
Bentley. Right on the 22. Done. The big men have really worked hard in this match. Like this man, Clark.
He's had a magnificent game, Graham. I know I've said it probably about 4 or 5 times tonight, but I've never seen him work as hard as he's worked tonight, and I think this is what this game's all about. If the big front rowers are on and off, they can't take their toll like this fellow has tonight. He's deserved to start it and finish it.
Brasher.
Cool.
Geez, he comes from a long way back, Guy, in defence.
He certainly does.
And when you know a man can hurt you on the rugby league field, well, plenty of people are looking for him, aren't they? O'Brien. 3.5 minutes left here for the Tigers to get on the scoreboard at Richardson Park in Darwin. A night of history for rugby league, as premiership points for the first time are up for grabs. Sirenen. Overall possession favouring the Panthers. Brown. Masella puts it down again. Wasn't an easy ball. 40 metres out, Geyer. He's waiting one out too. Mackay, that was an easy ball and he put it down. Phillips to his feet to play it. There's got to be a penalty. Surely there's got to be a penalty. Geyer gets the warning from Roach. Keen to go on with it.
This could be the best battle of Darwin ever. It would have been Cyclone Tracy back again if those two heavyweights would have started grappling. There's a heavyweight fight on between Holyfield and George Foreman. I would have rather seen Roach and Geyer.
Well, Kangaroo teammates, I think Geyer was really keen to go onto it as skipper. Roach was trying to settle things down. The penalty had to come. A couple of times he got to his feet to try and play it, Phillips. Now, a couple of minutes left. Be interesting to see if anybody loses it here at the death. Bentley. It'd be nearly worth getting Geyer off the field, wouldn't it?
Certainly would. He is a volcano waiting to erupt on the football field, isn't he? Magnificent performer, but he's got to learn to be able to cool it a bit. Paul Clark, 32 tackles tonight. In these conditions, I think he can almost notch them up as almost a half century. And the players are really tired now. And as you can see by a knock on there late in the game, and the concentration goes, can the Tigers score?
Baysari. The Panthers are just as determined. not to let them on the board at all. 1.5 minutes remaining. Brasher. Upended well by Vandervoort. 14-0.
The Balmain players that had a lot of spark last year, like Freeman, like Brasher, like this man Grant, and this man on the wing.
O'Brien gets away. Now Freeman. Back to O'Brien. Does he get there? No.
No try.
He's waved away by the touch judge. That's as close as they've got. And the determination from Penrith to shut them out is shown again. He gets away, such a strong runner. Freeman was linking. He heard the call back inside from O'Brien. Barwick hammering O'Brien to the corner post. Wow.
Tough decision to have to make there. I wonder who made it, the touch judge or the in-goal touch judge.
Well, the touch judge was quick. I had my eye on him.
He was quick, but was he right? He
Very
must have
much
been.
the line ball.
He's got a moustache. He must have been right.
Gunn plays it back. Walker. Well, it's got away from Balmain and coach Alan Jones.
Yeah, and there can be no discussion after this game. The best side has won and won clearly.
The Tigers still have it. Geyer. Still with a point to prove. Freeman. The Tigers do deserve a try. Inside the last 60 seconds easily. There it ends. Serenade. He tries a chip. That's the end of the game. Annesley has called a halt to the action. No points on the board for the Tigers. 14 to Penrith. Bentley and Smith the try scorers. 3 goals to Barwick.